Let me know if you're here. I haven't done these in a long time, and I'm really happy to like support people in their businesses. So I just want to see if this is working. I hope it is. We'll see if in a minute if it is. Are we connected? You are live. Okay, so apparently I am streaming to the UK. If you're here, drop a comment down below. Hopefully I can see you. I don't know if I can actually see myself. Hello. Okay, yeah, cool. I can't see myself on Facebook, but we shall see. I'll also just check if we are live on. Oh, we got hello, Tom. Facebook user said hello, Tom. Oh my God, it's been a long time. But guys, if you've got questions, drop them down below. If I just go 1 second, animate, hide that. So we are live. I think I've got someone drop in their questions down below, which is great. Tom needs to sort out his things. Hello, user. Facebook user said, hey, Tom. So I'm guessing I'm live there. Let me just quickly check on the old Instagram. That's going to be super important. Your channel, are we? Oh, we're live. Wow, look, we're live. Wow, I can see myself live. Cool. If you guys want to drop your comments down below, honestly, I can, or like questions, comments. There's a lot going on. I released a video to an email recently about, should we say, like accounts being suspended. What's it called? Invoices, IP or product authenticity without test purchase, which is kind of like just ludicrous. So, it's like absolutely crazy. So I do, if I can I just do that? I don't know. Yeah, so the idea is if you've got questions, drop them down below, and obviously I can answer them and support you guys in your situation. I'm just kind of playing around. So if the screen goes a bit weird, that's my fault. So I'm sorry. Right, let's kind of go on to some questions. So I want to see, yeah. So Mark, hi Fast Track FBA, are you hiring for a product researcher? Yeah, check on the website. You can apply on there. Absolutely fine. Always looking for product researchers. If you want to know an interesting stat, we have about 800 to 1,000 people a week apply for us, and we only actually put through about 1% through to training. And if you want to know the key, most interesting indicator behind a VA, we actually put through like quite a lot of potential, but the biggest one is like mental belief and like toughness getting through. And I think this is true in Amazon selling, mental toughness going forward. So that's a really important thing. So be strong, focus. By the way, getting a job, doing a new business, working from home, all these things are hard. You've got to be strong. It's not going to be easy. Carlos, hey Carlos, long time no see. Hey, good to see you. Let me know, obviously, if you enjoy these lives. If I can try and do them more often, I will. I just wouldn't mind sharing and giving back. And again, hopefully you understand that when I do the lives, they're really kind of like here to support you and to help you out. I'm just going to bring this camera down a bit. There we go. So Tom can relax a bit more. Facebook user says, hello, Thomas Parkinson. Hello. Hello, Facebook user. Hello. Let me know if you've got questions down below. I'm here to help you. DJ Crazy Jimmy. Hey, DJ Crazy Jimmy. Why are you called DJ Crazy Jimmy? Let me know. Honestly, down below. Elliot Brees, if I get it right. Brees, sorry. Hi, Tom. For someone who's got the capital available to invest more, how would you go about expanding your FBA business doing OA? I've currently got one VA at the moment from you that has just started. Fantastic. Okay, so look. As someone who has built a business to nearly $4 million and closed it down, but also as well, we run over $1 million business in the US and obviously run Fast Track FBA. So my advice for you is, just because you've got the money in the bank doesn't necessarily mean you should be spend all the time. Now, I will kind of put a caveat around that, is to say that just because you've got the money doesn't mean you should necessarily be spending it. But when you know where to spend it, how to spend it, and what that looks like, then that's going to be a really good position. So I'm just going to come on to your second bit here where it says, I'm doing around 20K a month. Fantastic. Well done. Just wondering how you go about it. Thanks for the help. So I'll kind of put it back to here. So my advice for you, and by the way, I will share this knowledge with you now because it's relevant to all the people within the VA Academy, Seller Academy, or all those people. So number one is if you just, and by the way, I've been here before, if you just go and hire lots more VAs, it's not really going to work because they keep finding all the low-hanging fruit and everyone else is doing that. You need to be looking for niches that are going to work for you. And generally, the products you're finding are a little bit harder to find. So what do I mean? You need discount codes, voucher codes, for example. But really, you want to be looking in an area that maybe other people are not, or maybe you've got a supplier that people are not. This is why wholesales can be quite useful because you can't access the wholesale sales that easy. If someone can literally go on your storefront right now, and right mouse click, search Google and find the product, then I promise you that product won't stay profitable for too long. Then you've got a problem that you just have to keep buying different products. And you're always starting again, which is an absolute nightmare. So my top tip for you is, if you've got the money available and you've got the one VA right now, train that VA up, get them into a category, a niche, maybe a brand, maybe a couple of suppliers, or even one supplier. Maybe it could just be like, all I do is sales sourcing, or it could be all I do is Amazon out of stock, or all it could be that I do is Amazon flips, for example. These are all different types of strategies, and that sourcer just does that. And you become really good at analyzing the deals, buying them, and they become really good at sourcing them. And once you've got that kind of one sourcer working, you get two options. Number one, do you buy or do you get another VA to go and find another kind of like area to focus down? And that's definitely one way you can do it. So it could be that, if we talk about it like, oh, I'm going to do sneakers. One, don't do sneakers, by the way. It's like well over competitive. And then the other one might be like, I might do like beauty. But, you can, you can't. So it could be like sneakers is one. I've got that working fantastic, and I'll do beauty. Now that's absolutely fine. But what you might think about is actually the niche that I'm currently down, that sneaker niche, for example. Instead of going into beauty and having to learn all of that, why don't I just take the sneaker niche and split it in half, and now divide, half of it to one VA and half of it to the other one, and get them to get better. And then when they get better, and it could, you could think about it like male and female. That's quite an easy one. Or it could be certain brands, or it could even be certain suppliers. So you can split that niche down. And again, all you're trying to do is build specific knowledge in a certain domain, category, supplier niche, anything like that, whereby you can continue to do that action, get better at it, and then eventually split it and put another person in there, which would be another person. Now, by the way, you talk about 20K a month, which I think is absolutely fantastic. To put it in perspective, one of my VAs, I'm like, he's good, but I think we can get him much, much better. He averages around 10 to 15,000 spend dollars per week. Now, this is what I want you to, and by the way, I think I can probably get him to 20, 30 a week. Now, the reason why I say this is because we are really working on building that niche out, expanding it, getting better. Now, this is what I really recommend for you. Just focus on like those niches, really try and understand how you can get it. 20K a month is absolutely fantastic. Get that one VA and do more. My one advice for you is, while I'd like to sit here and say buy lots of VAs, because obviously I sell VAs and it'd be good, I generally don't think you need a really big VA team. What I think is you need a really good VA team. And that's why we do the 12-week unlimited replacement, so you can get a good VA that's going to work for you. But really what you're looking to do is understand what that niche is and grow it so that it's not 5,000 and it's actually going to be, a lot more. So I hope that makes sense. Elliot, let me know down below if that's helpful. It's quite in depth, but it's like, that's the way we approach it. And hopefully you can see some numbers there. Like if you're spending 10,000 a week, that's going to be really important. And you're going to get to 40,000 a week revenue, and you can do that with one VA. So Elliot, let me know down below if that is helpful. I just got a notification to say, we've stopped recording. Are we still live? Yeah, I think we're still live. Cool. So some people are live. So Elliot, let me know if that helps. Roy Man, what were your sales for August? Oh, I don't even know off the top of my head. I don't even have the app installed on my phone. Why? Because number one, I don't want to see it. And number two is the fact that what's it called? Number two is the fact that when you go around on Wi-Fi hotspots, I'm just acutely aware of like people getting accounts suspended. And I'm like, I do not want to be logging into different like Wi-Fi's with other people. I've traveled the entire world, logged into different places, but I'm not there. One thing I do know, and I'm not going to tell you the exact number, but what I do know is the profitability. And what I'll say is, while revenue has not been the highest it's ever been, definitely profitability has. That's the one thing we've really focused on within my business. We've reduced down the amount we're buying because, by the way, I built a $3.4 million business, 20 odd staff. And the net result was that it just doesn't equal the profitability that I wanted. And we shut it down, and I put a big post about that. But the one thing I'd say is sales are, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. And if you are like, you've got money and you want to keep growing, fantastic. Just by growing bigger doesn't necessarily mean the answer. I'd really be looking at profitability. And in particular, what have we done in our business? And again, I come back to what Elliot talked about, is instead of trying to hire more staff, if anything, we've actually been letting staff go for various reasons. And What we've also done is really try to expand how those staff are sourcing. Domain knowledge, niches, categories, suppliers. Again, I come back to the point where one of my sourcing VAs now is doing 10 to 15 a week, which is absolutely fantastic. I think I can double that. And we've literally seen how we can double it. Like, we're just going through that process right now. I'm like, I really think we can do this. So hope that makes sense, Roy, man. Revenue is vanity, profit sanity. That makes sense. Facebook user, do you have any unofficial advice for getting credit cards for the USA, even if not big limit cashback would be nice? So Facebook user, you need to let me know personal or business. You also need to let me know is, by the way, like getting cashback, like you could the easiest one you can do, you can get like the easiest way to do it if you want to know is business. You get Mercury, you can create a free account. You do need an LLC with an EIN. And then you need to put, you're going to love this, wait for it, $50,000 in, and they'll give you a credit card. There's another one in the US for business called Divvy. You basically put $100 in, and they'll give you a $100 credit line, and then you just keep spending the credit line, and they'll kind of do it. So Divvy's another option. There are some others. Within the Fast Track FBA, getting started on the USA course, which I'm going to direct you to. We have a really good, we talk about it in there, and I won't share it here, but do check it. It's like $97, I think it is, $99. It's a one-time fee. It's about how we set up. But I do talk about creating personal and business credit cards with Amex as a non-US resident, and how we've done that and how I've done it as well. So now to give you an idea, I have a personal platinum card in the US, I have a business platinum card in the US, and I have so I actually have 2 business platinum cards now because Fast Track FBA has moved over. And we also have a Amex Blue credit card because Platinum's a charge card, so we have that in the US as well. So have a look at that course. But look at Mercury, look at Divvy. They're good options for business, but generally it's going to be business, and that's the way you want to get it. Let me know, like, there's loads of like issues around business credit in the US if you're not a resident, and if you have an ITIN, it's really obvious to tell that you're a non-resident. Like, it just takes a lot of pain. So like, I can explain that, but let me know down below if there's any more questions around that. Carlos, live AMA are great, Tom. Keep them up. Cool, thank you. Like, I did a lot of them. I got really extreme last time. I did like one a day for like a month. I was like, oh, and I'd have days where my throat would just kind of give up. So I'm like, no. Look who is taking massive action. Mr. Sean Gilbert, chilling in the sun in the garden while making money, and the dream team working right now. Sean, I absolutely love it. Hey, honestly, great to see you. And obviously, I still see your stories. I love it. Although I do think probably you need to stop eating like Boots and KFC. Like, level up, man. Like, although I think you had a steak dinner the other day, or like a really fancy dinner, so well done to you. But it's right, hey, well done to you. Like, it's your dream, you can live it how you like, as much as I tell you to level up. But I think, well done for taking massive action. Absolutely love that. Keep up the great work, Sean. And by the way, if anyone doesn't know, Sean is absolutely smashing it, so keep up the great work. Facebook user, I've got your VA service. I see that your hiring team do diligent work. Thanks to Mark, Sid, and Shenna. Yeah, they're really good. Like, by the way, like, I will say this, anyone can hire a VA. That's the point. Hiring a VA, hiring someone's easy. How many people want jobs? That's easy. But how many people are going to do a good job? And being able to find and hire the people who do a good job, and generally to start with that is personality and behavior traits and history, and all the training in the world will not solve a bad hire. That's really where we make a difference, and that's why we have that 12-week unlimited replacement. So if you feel that perhaps maybe you're not happy with the hire we've done, no problem. You can get a replacement. Literally, you just drop us a message and you can replace that VA as many times as you like, and we reset the clock for 12 weeks. So really, really important thing. So thank you for that, Mr. Facebook, or Mr. or Mrs. Facebook user. Thank you so much. Do you still get issues with cancellations? 1 second. Yeah, so we do. So a couple of things. Number one, you really want to know which suppliers cancel. Like, even in the UK, Boots will cancel a massive amount of orders. So you shouldn't be ordering from Boots. You shouldn't even be wasting your time with Boots unless you're like literally just getting started and want to like figure out some stuff. So, you should know which suppliers to go with. Number two is the fact that you should be, if you can't get orders through cancel, like, don't bother even sourcing for them. Like, no, I'm not wasting my time, because all you're doing is wasting your life. It's kind of like I spend all my time sourcing on a website that they don't actually have any payment options. It's just a fake website. That's a waste of my life. So if you can't get orders through, it's a fake website. Then the other one, like the other couple of top tips that I'll share with you, because I share them all the time. We talk about it again in the USA in the Getting Started in the Amazon USA course. There's a lot of cool things. But I think one of the real, like this is like fundamental in regards to getting through cancelled orders. Very just simplistically, contacting the supplier after they cancel and asking why. Sometimes you can do it through email, sometimes you have to get on the phone, but a lot of time it is actually email. And a lot of time they'll just say, oh, we're really sorry, you hit our like IP detection or like spam filter or like something. And then they reply back and say, oh, thanks for that. Any chance we can like, how can we get the order put through? And they'll be like, oh, we'll just add you to our whitelist. And we're like, cool, thanks. I'm like, I will not lie, like, I'd probably say 50% of the time we get that response. We have to just ask, and they're like, oh, we'll add you to the whitelist. We're like, fantastic, cool. Sometimes it's like, can you do us a bank payment? Then after that, we'll whitelist you. We're like, sure. But by the way, these are really good things, because if you're getting cancelled orders, that means everyone else is getting cancelled orders. And if you can overcome the cancelled orders, that means other people are not overcoming it. So that means that when this product has a good price, other people won't bother, or they won't get the product through because the order will be cancelled. Like, that's so important. So I think my advice to you is cool, message, do what you need to do, but build out that list of, have the list of all your suppliers that you source from. By the way, we have them because we also do a lot of other kind of like checks with the supplier. And then number two is the fact that try and get the orders through. And if you can't, stop sourcing. That's it. But we have lots of other, like in our supplier list, should we say, some other good information that we keep, which I will share with you, I think is quite useful, is number one is like, what's the supplier? Number two, like, obviously like the order issues, like is it cancelled? What's the problems? And then like how to get orders through. Also as well, do they actually pay cash back? That's a really important metric, because we might bring down our ROI if we guarantee their cash back. Like we've never had a problem with cash back, so we might bring the ROI down. The other one might be like, if there's any voucher codes, we'll store all the voucher codes, because historic ones are really important. If you want to know, like I was on a live last week with, Flips for Miles. And he was talking about it, which is quite interesting. It was like, oh, we found some deals. I think it was like a New Balance shoe or something. And that was in like a 20-minute, he found a deal. But what was really interesting was like, if you listen to him, he said like, but if I had some like, this is like public sourcing. If I did private sourcing and I had my proper codes, like everything would be a deal. And what you understand is the fact that old voucher codes, certain ways of getting orders through, like this is going to change the game for you and give you a competitive edge against other people. So I'd really stress that. And I think that's a really important consideration. Like when you just build your list of suppliers and what the information is against them. That's going to be so helpful. Hope that helps, Mub. Give me a thumbs up. Right, I'm here. Massive action. My VA is also buy too, creating so many listings daily. Are you creating listings yourself? Are they like, I'm guessing you're not doing private label, they're like multi-pack certain things. So the fact that they're creating listings, I think is really good. So hey, well done, Sean. Absolutely love it. Vung21. There's a trend on UK, Facebook, YouTube, etc. to encourage people into wholesale by obfuscating their business as suppliers/wholesale. Is this something you agree with, or is there a better way? Oh, so it's kind of like me as Fast Track FBA saying, hey guys, you should get into wholesale, buy from me, buy from Fast Track FBA. Like Fast Track FBA are buying deals from wholesale and reselling them under the Fast Track FBA name. And yeah, like, I don't know, like it's not my place to say what's right or what's wrong. I'm always just a bit careful with like doing those kind of things. Why? Because my question comes, if Amazon come back and want product authenticity, then, and that's a big one right now. It's a really big one, which we've looked at. Like a lot of Amazon's massively cracking down the supply chain, i.e. they say cannot verify supplier, so they reject your invoice, and because the supplier you're buying from, they can't basically verify, they don't believe that supplier go back to the manufacturer. So and you can't provide the supplier's invoice from who they bought it from, and as a result, we don't know if they're legit or fake. So there is a big question. I'm not saying it's bad. Like it might be the case that you do it, but also on the inverse, you might find that the products they're buying and just go out and find them wholesale yourself. At the end of the day, like every person between the manufacturer and the end customer takes a margin. And the less people you have in that supply chain, the more profit there is to be made. And the more people you have in the supply chain, the less profit there is. So if you do see someone like saying like, hey, buy from me, then I think the net result might be like, can you go find the supply chain yourself and just cut out the middleman? That's what we do, really. We cut out the middleman and we make profit. So, hey, make some more profit. Hope that makes sense. Vol 21. Jesse. Hey, Jesse. How are you? I hope you're well. Honestly, I see your post in Facebook recently about IP services. So thank you. That's good. Honestly, I think they're really good. And I think, by the way, we had it. Someone posted about a prep center. And someone messaged me, was like, hey, man, you got to be careful. Like, you can't be posting negative stuff. And I'm like, I don't think it was like, it may have been negative in itself, but I think it was their reflection of their experience. And I think as community providers, who provide a space for people to talk, we do have an element of duty around being fair and transparent and not just kind of playing to the big guy, like hiding all negative. Like, I think it's important to be and have an element of transparency, as long as it's not hate. That's the important thing. But I think if someone's had a bad experience and they're struggling to work with that client or that service, then they should do it. Because my God, hey, I'll hold my hands up and say we make mistakes as Fast Track FBA. I'll honestly say that. But hopefully feel like we support you. So hey, Jesse, great to have you. Hopefully I'll do some more of these. Let's kind of go through. Carlos. Struggling with profitability right now due to crazy amounts of new sellers coming in, all size tanking prices. How are you doing this going forward? Yeah, really, really good question. And by the way, if you think you are struggling with profitability, try running a $4 million a year business in the UK where every man and their dog and VA was copying every single deal that you did. Like, that was a profitability nightmare. And by the way, we had over $250,000 or pounds of Amazon loans at that point. I think this month is the last month I pay it off. And by the way, I shut the business down in February, March, April, I don't know. So again, I learned so much from that Amazon UK shutdown. And my advice for you is, if you are sourcing right now and you are finding products, one second, need water. If you're sourcing right now and you're finding products, and those products can easily be found by just doing a right mouse click Google search, then the likelihood of them getting crashed is going to be very, very high. Ideally, you're going to be looking for products that come from maybe certain categories, certain niches that are going to be more complex. If I give you a good example, right now we have a product whereby it sells fast. I mean, 300 units a month in the US. We probably sell 10 a day, for example, sometimes maybe up to 20. And the one thing which we know is that actually we kind of picked out when it was like right mouse click find, but now we've brought the price down, so it's a really rubbish price. But because we understand that if we buy more stock, we can get a discount from the retailer. And by the way, it's not like your beauty, it's not like your toys and games, it's something else. And the retailer, these retailers will give you discount because this kind of product you might buy on bulk, for example. So we are literally just asking the retailer, hey, we want to buy 300 units. Can you give us a discount? They're like, yeah, sure. We'll give you a couple of dollars off the price. It's not not a cheap price anyway. We're retailing it for over $30, but the net result is the fact that if you were to do right mouse click search, it's not profitable. But what you understand is that because we've bought the product, because we understand it, and also as well because we've asked the question, because we're like, wow, this product really sells and it does well, and let's go ask the question, we can now actually get it for a good price. And what we're trying to do is just keep buying and selling, but we're not trying to maximize the profitability of it. We're trying to maximize the longevity of it. And by doing that, we fix our pricer down so that right mouse click just looks rubbish and people won't want to buy it. And as a result, we're holding a lot of that buy box all the time. So it's really, really helpful. But again, this isn't something you can just find tomorrow. This is something that you've got to look through all your products that you're selling and go, okay, so this product's quite good. How can I get more of it? Or this product crashed. Why? It's probably because it was just on a sale that everyone knew about. But if you think about it, if you find a product, or let's say, for example, if you need to apply cashback, a discount card, you need to use coupon, discount card and coupon codes to get the price. The likelihood of anyone else being able to combine those three things, and generally the more things you have to combine, is so unlikely that it's just not going to work. That it's probably going to be, the price isn't going to crash. But if the only thing that someone needs to do is right mouse click on your storefront, the name, Google search, and they find it, it's going to crash. Like, it's going to crash. So, Carlos, I really understand what you think you're doing, but my advice would be change your approach. And this is like something I'm talking massively about right now within the Fast Track FBA Seller Academy, and I'll be doing some work with the VA Academy owners as well to really support them in how we've approached this and what we're doing and what we're seeing is working and what's not, and how we're like growing the business, but in a much more profitable way rather than, should we say, purely revenue based off what I learned from the UK. So I hope that makes sense, Carlos. So I'm running a bit late. I need to go faster. Drop your questions. I promise you I will answer them. I will go faster. Benjamin, how would you be sure if a product is not counterfeit, aside from making sure the beauty product's not fake, i.e. getting an invoice the seller is adamant it's not, however the cost price is a third of retail price at most retailers? I think two things. Like, you can never be 100% sure. I say it's not about being sure, it's about what you can prove. And the question I would ask is, if, number one, look at the supplier. Number two, do you feel the supplier is legit? Like, little things like, look at their website. How does the website look? Number two, look at like the who is. Number three, like, who is, like, did the website get made yesterday or like this year? Like, hell no. If it's been around for a long time, reputable brand name. Number four, you could even contact the manufacturer and say, hey, this supplier is offering your product at this price. We want to know if they're authorized, like, or have they got it? Like, ask the question. Like, number five, if you do all your like checks and you're like, look, I think they could be legit. Like, I'm pretty sure. By the way, sometimes people do get them really, great prices. It does happen, but like, you just got to be sure. And then ask out why. But then the final one to do is always buy with a credit card, generally Amex, because you're going to get the best amount of protection with Amex. And the net result is that if it isn't right and you want to return it, and by the way, we've had this before where like we bought something, my team bought it and was like, it was really good. You're like, no, it's fake. And like, it turns up and guess what? It's like not in the right box, or it's like fake. And the warehouse has picked it up and then we're like, we'll return it. And then like the thing says, no returns. We're like, well, you didn't actually sell us what you provided. And we go back through the credit card. So again, get the protection, but like also as well, just make sure your warehouse are really hot on it. I will give you an idea. In the UK, we used to pay 50p, so about 70 cents per unit prepped. In the US, we now pay $2.20, which you might think is crazy. And by the way, this is a tax-free prep center as well. And the net result is that why? Because we do much higher value items, but those items we want checked to a very, very high standard. So that's why it costs us so much more. So just be mindful of that. I think that's something to do. There is no correct answer, but I think for you is just, like kind of understanding, like, do your due diligence. And ultimately the question is, if Amazon want to see the invoice, do you feel confident giving them that invoice? And supply chain, that's the point. Elliot said, hey Tom, thanks. Cool. Hey Elliot, glad I could help. Give me a big thumbs up if you're enjoying the live. If I get lots of thumbs up, I'll be like, hey, I'm here. Also as well, like, I'm just playing around the layout. I've got a chat box there, so I'm coming through, so let me know. Benjamin said, how would we make sure a beauty, no, I done that one. Himson, long time no see. By the way, I just said that and you actually wrote that. Ha, love it. Cool. Hey, Himson. Glad you're doing these again. Cool. Let me know if there's any questions I can help you with. That's fine. I think Carlos said that on. He's already posted that one, so I'm going to move on. So, hey, I hope that's helpful, Carlos. Leonard, what Amazon account would one need for arbitrage business? So when you sign up for Amazon, if you're talking about like Amazon, like individual or professional, basically you can get either, but really you want the professional. Why? Because you can't win the buy box if you're on the individual. Now, if you're really trying to like put it this way, if you're like, oh, well, you could save $40 if you bought the individual and then just did it that way and that, like, I'd be like, if you're going to start this business and you're worrying about $40, like, or 40 or 30 pounds, I'd be like, it's probably not the right business, because the very nature of the business, you've got to spend quite a bit of money to get going. So if you're not too sure, like, you can use tools like SAS or, like Buybot Pro, or FBA Multi-Tool, RevSeller, Zen, start practicing. And then once you've done it for like a month, for example, and you feel quite confident in how you do it, then cool, then go buy the Amazon account. But professional one is the one that you think. You don't necessarily need an LLC, you don't need a limited company, you can do it on your personal name. That does work. And arbitrage is just a way of finding products, or type of, like, a definition of how a product is sourced. So, arbitrage is generally like, if we talk about online arbitrage, that's like we buy it online from retailers. Retail arbitrage is we go in store generally. Wholesale is like where we buy it from wholesalers, distributor, or manufacturer. And private label will be we buy it, we manufacture it ourselves as a private label product or private branded. So I hope that makes sense. But Leonard, I hope that answers your question. Facebook user. I think it's supposed to say nowadays. Nowadays, Amazon is closing generic listings. Do you not think that RA will end soon or loss being profitable business models? This is another regulation update from Amazon. Well, let's be crystal clear. Like, I'm not going to like say I definitely have, but I've probably done about $10 million in sales across Amazon. I could probably guess that maybe we sold on 20 generic listings in my life, and I hope it's like lower than that, because we don't sell on generic listings. We sell on, branded listings. We sell on like Lego. We sell on like, like Maybelline, for example. Probably not Maybelline. I think get an IP complaint, but you get the point. But like, we're not selling on generic listings. The understanding that I have right now is Amazon is closing down generic listings because there are no real generic products. Someone manufactures it, and it should be a brand. The one thing which I'm hearing a lot about right now is a lot of people who are doing like bundles where they're putting in like specifically around Mars. They're going to be, you've got to be careful there now. Like if you're putting like products together, the brands and then like, say for example, I list it under Tom or like Fast Track FBA brand on Amazon. So it says like, Mars and Snickers chocolate bundle brand, Fast Track FBA or Tom's brand, for example, they're like really at high risk because the brand owners who own the products within your in your thing are like, you shouldn't own the brand. This is our product within your brand, and we have no control over it. So there's a lot of like worry about that, and Amazon shut down. But I think it's only fair. Like, do I think the OARA business model? OARA is just a supply chain, like how you buy your products. You're basically trying to say, do I think that trade is going to stop or be less profitable? Like, possibly. Like, I think trade has always been less profitable over time because information technology has made it a lot easier. But like, there'll still be trade. Oh my God, like long after I die, Amazon will probably still be here long after I die, and the net result is there'll still be money to be made, or on a different platform. Hope that makes sense. I'm about to change the thing. Benjamin, how do you check that a beauty product is not fake? I've got an invoice, but it's from eBay, and the seller confirmed the product was authentic. However, the cost price is significantly lower than the RIP. Yeah, I'm going to say, like, what if I sold you something which was fake and you asked me, is this fake? Or do you think I'm going to go, yeah, it's fake? Because eBay's probably terms and conditions said they're not allowed to sell fakes. And by the way, again, it comes back to the point. It doesn't matter if it is fake or not. It's what you can prove. If you can't prove that it came from a legitimate supply chain, Amazon will not accept it. And as a result, they'll automatically deem it as fake. So eBay, as a general rule of thumb, and I will say the one exception that we used to do, but we don't do anymore, the answer is no. We do not buy anything from eBay. We do not buy from third-party sellers. Even if you're in the US, Walmart has a third-party seller platform in walmart.com. We won't buy from them. If you buy from like Game in the UK, you can buy from third-party sellers. We don't buy from them as well because the supply chain you can't show. Now, in eBay in the UK, we used to buy from like Argos Outlet. That was okay, but I'm not saying it's okay now. Amazon might say no, but why? Because Argos was a brand known name. But I think for you is like, I would return it. I'd be like, no, sorry, I don't want it. Turn it back and stop buying things from eBay. I think my one bit of advice to any seller is, I read this. This is a guy who Warren Buffett says, if this, what's his name? Mark, I've forgotten his name. It's like some guy. He basically said, Warren Buffett listens to him. He said, we would all be much richer if we minimize the downside if things were to go wrong, rather than trying to maximize the opportunity if things were to go right. Because you make so much risk that it's going to ruin you. Like, and by the way, like, your job on Amazon, your first priority is not to lose your account. Your second priority is to make as much profit as possible. But you can't focus on making the profit at the expense of the account. Rule 1, keep the account. Rule 2, make the profit. But don't, rule 3, don't maximize rule 2 at the expense of rule 1. Like, I think that's really, really important. You have to keep the account. And if you can't guarantee your products are fake, then that's going to cause you big problems. So 3 top tips there. It's kind of like Warren Buffett's. Rule number 1 is don't lose money. Rule number 2 is remember rule number 1. I think that's it. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. So Benjamin, I hope that answers your questions. New FBA seller, hey. Vaughn says, no, I mean they advise, tell big brands that you're a wholesale supplier rather than FBA says they don't like FBA sellers. Oh, that's fine. I would probably just say like, yeah, like, you are kind of right. Like, by the way, like, if you want to get into wholesale suppliers, like wholesale, and we've done wholesale. I actually started with wholesale. I think it's like fine. Like, the reason is too many people right now are just saying, I sell on Amazon. And as a result, the wholesalers have, 5-10 applications a day. It's not what they want. It's really not what they want. And the net result is that they just need some way of filtering. And they'll just be like, you know what? Out of these 5 to 10 applications a day, 8 to 9 of them are Amazon. Why don't we just say no to Amazon? It'll just be a lot easier. Then we can deal with the people who are a bit more, the smaller people, and it makes it easier. So some Amazon sellers will sell a lot, but the majority of Amazon sellers will be brand new, and they'll be like $100, £200, for example, and they're like not interested. So I don't have an issue with saying like we're looking to retail, distribute, whatever. Like fine, I've done that. I did procurement, so I hope that makes sense. But I don't see a problem with it. Yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend telling a wholesaler an Amazon seller unless they ask, and even then, I would say it's a channel that we sell on, but it's not our main one. So, yeah, massive action. Creating variation listings is the most. So customers buy more than one, so more sales. Keeper of our winning ASINs coming back. Yeah, I love it. Q4 and UK. Q4 is coming. Yeah, Q4 is coming. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Love it, Sean. He creates lots of variation listings. Love it. Massive action. Amazon are removing so many old listings in the UK. Anyone noticing? Having to return stuff back. My VA then makes better listings, so that's good. Well, hey, as long as you're profitable, fantastic. And by the way, while I talk about profitable, let's be realistic. We all lose money at certain points within our Amazon business. On certain products, they crash, we get IP complaints, we have to return the listing. It's just called a cost of doing business. My God, the customer tries on the clothing and then returns it we can't get the money back. Or the customer does a switcheroo. And Amazon even says switcheroo in their returns. And you're like, why have we not billed the customer for a bloody switcheroo? It's a pain, but welcome to life. Unfortunately, it's cost of doing business. So are you not doing UK anymore? No, we stopped doing UK back in February. I think I did a post about it. I said it was 3.4 million to 0. That was my post. So yeah, lots going on there. So not doing the UK at the moment, just focusing on USA. And why? Because I don't know about you, but I think if all of you are selling right now on Amazon, you're probably there's a lot of work to do. As much as we kind of talk about the 4-hour work week and we do it, sometimes it's a lot of work. And I think that's a really important point. So the net result is the fact that focus is key. One thing I read the other day was what's the difference between really, really rich people and really, 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 really rich people, super rich. And the difference is the super rich people say no to more. They just do less. But what they do is they do a lot better at that certain stuff. And I was like, man, I'm running this massive business in the UK that is huge in revenue, but not the profit that's where you want it to be. Number 2 is the fact that I've got this USA business, which is much smaller, much more profitable. And then Fast Track FBA, where I like to spend a lot of time and it aligns with my personal values. I was like, why am I doing this massive UK business? And again, we shut it down. And I said, look, I'm just going to focus. And even if you follow my Fast Track FBA journey, we used to do certain things and we were just trying to cut down the amount of stuff we're doing to make it a lot easier and more simple. So I hope that makes sense. Pos Guru, I hope that makes sense. Do you think furniture, wooden dining chairs, are a good product for Amazon FBA? I have a strong connection with great furniture. I would probably, I'm not an expert at this. I would probably say no. And again, I'm not an expert. I'd probably say no. And only for the one reason is the fact that chairs are very, very big and they're heavy. And FBA is fulfillment by Amazon, and anything big and heavy going into Amazon generally isn't going to be very profitable. Has to have very high margins. And you might actually find it a lot easier just to store it in your own warehouse in the UK, ship it off to the customer through FBM. I think that would be a better option. So Pos Guru, if you want to know the answer, the market already tells you the answer. Go find all the wooden chair legs on Amazon right now and go have a look. Wooden chair, dining chairs, are they FBA or they are FBM? I promise you, I think they'll give you FBM. And by the way, the market is telling you it's more profitable to do it that way than it is to do it FBA. Do the calculations. You'll know the answer. Thank you, Tom. How do I join your Fast Track FBA coaching calls? I'll tell you a good trick. By the way, while you have these, this is just me talking kind of at you with questions. If you want to join me on a live call where you're actually in the call, you get to see your face if you want, and you want to ask me questions, I have a couple, 2 that I run. One is in the top seller program. This is really a beginner program. Like really, we're trying to take you to 5 figures, trying to help you get you right, talking about profitability, building up that system of really just focusing you down. We talked about like getting 5, 10, 20, even up to like 50,000, really trying to get you up to the point before you hire your first VA. I do those calls every Thursday, and you can join right now. It's just $47 per month. That's it. fasttrackfba.com/top TOP. You can join me, and it's just a monthly $50 per month. So it's not very much, 47. So you can join that. If you've got VAs and you want to scale higher, you really want to be looking at the Fast Track FBA Seller Academy. I do 1 call a week there, which is like an hour and a half, but you also get 3 calls a week. And this is one with my purchasing manager, my admin VA, and my sourcing team. And the net result is that in those, you actually get to speak to my team and find out what we do. And we share all our processes around how we do things within my company. So again, everything we're learning, we do it a lot more detail and a lot more granular. So if that's something you're interested in, the Fast Track FBA Seller Academy, I won't lie, it's not cheap. It's a one-time payment rather than a thing, but it is my entire operations broken down. So if you just want to join me for a call, join the Top Seller Academy, $47 per month, and you can cancel at any time. And you get 1 call a week in either the Top Seller Academy or the Top Seller program or the Seller Systems Academy. Tom should really get the product name right. Can you answer my question? I will do. I just answered it. Hope that makes sense. I'm running about 10 minutes late, so it tells me. So let's kind of go through. I'm not sure if I'm Joa. I think it's Joa. I hope I'm getting it right. I'm not very good with squiggly line things. I can do Enya, like Spanish, N. That's it. I still need to learn my Spanish. What are your guidelines, diligence on intellectual property and product authenticity complaints during online arbitrage? So I don't really know what you're referring to that. So 2 things. We have a lawyers on retainer, which we pay $100 per month. So number 1, if we get any IP complaints, we'll always get them to create the fight letter, and we've got them all removed. We probably get 1 or 2 a week, and we get them all removed. Even in the UK, we have this all the time, so we have lawyers on retainer. Number 2, we buy from reputable suppliers. And number 3 is the fact that we're just monitoring the return rates of the products. Number 1, because we don't want to be buying products that are getting high return rates. But number 2 is the fact that we also just want to make sure the suppliers are doing, buying good products. So that's it. So, that's the kind of due diligence we do at like a high level. And again, my admin VAs will feedback. We document it all in the Seller Systems Academy. So it's all in there, and you can talk to my team. I hope that makes sense. Leonard. Can one do online arbitrage and physical going in the shops at the same time, make most of the 2 options? Agreed. Yeah. By the way, like so many people, because, Q4 is coming up, by the way. And in regards to Q4, one of the kind of tricks or hacks that people do, and by the way, you can do it outside of Q4. You can do it any time of day if you want. One of the hacks is you can go into, you can buy stuff online if you've got lots of cash. But what you can do is you can go in store, for example, scan stuff. And if you're like, there's this Lego product on sale, cool. So what you can do is you can go, cool, this Lego product's on sale. I'm really, really happy, and it's a good price. While you're in store on your phone, you can actually list it merchant fulfilled on your phone, and then obviously go and buy it, should we say, or buy it. So I've got like 10 of them. I'll merchant fulfill them, put it on the Amazon app, merchant fulfill them, and then by the time you get home, you might have actually sold those 10. So you're like, damn, what would normally happen is in OA, you'd have to buy it from the OA supplier. It takes a day to 2 days to get to your house, maybe even longer. Then you've got to prep it another day. Then the UPS come pick it up the next day, and then it goes into the prep center, for example, or maybe it goes straight to the prep center. It takes another day, and it goes into Amazon. Amazon move it around different warehouses because it's what they do. And if I give you a metric within my business, it's recently changed. The number of days from the moment we bought a product to it being on sale on Amazon, we track this metric, by the way. This number it used to be 21 days in the US, which was like, oh my God, I want to kill myself, because it means for 3 weeks, my money is doing nothing. But right now, we've just managed to get it down sub 10. So I'm really happy. It's 8 this morning when I checked, or my team updated me. So it's 8 days from buy to sell. But if you're able to do merchant fulfilled, and you are able to, you're able to, should we say, go in store, scan something, add it on that moment. By the time you get home, you might have sold it, and you might ship it off to the customer. So your number of days from, buy to sell is 0, because it's the same day. And as a result, you could make the sale on the same day, and that day you could actually ship it to the customer, and then it'll arrive the next day, then 14 days after that, fantastic, you get the money back. Whereas I have to wait, little old Tom, he has to wait 20 days to get it into Amazon, then he has to wait for another month for it to sell because all the other competitors have come in, and then once it's sold, then he has to wait 14 days to get the money back. So basically it takes me 2 months on a good day, 3 months normally, to get my money back. Whereas if you're doing RA really well, you can, 3 months to flip my cash. So you spend money, get it back again, plus profit. With merchant fulfilled, you can do it in 2 weeks, which is if you could buy and sell on the same day, absolutely changes. So decreasing that time from sale by doing merchant fulfilled can change the game if you've got low cash flow and you want to do it more. Also, the other advantage to doing that is the net result is that what you can do is, if you think this product's on sale, for example, and you're like, my God, this is going to crash, like, Walmart, Argos, they've got a really big sale on, everyone's buying it. Like, if you ship it in FBA, so many other people are going to get selling, it's going to be crazy. So if you just do FBM, list it today, at probably like the lowest price to get sales today, you might not make as much profit as possible, but you will get it sold. And if you were to ship it in, you probably have to wait 2-3 months. And if you kind of do the calculations, it'll work out a lot better. Now, there's one thing which I will say on that, which I don't recommend, but someone did actually tell me, which I thought was quite ingenious. So I do not recommend you do this hack, but it could be an option. Some people who've really struggled with money, what they did is they went in store and they scanned stuff, then they listed it on Amazon, and then when it's sold on Amazon, they would go back in store and buy it. Now, I don't recommend this because if you sell it and you can't go and buy it in store, you've got a big problem. But what they do know is that if there's like lots of stock in store and you can get it sold quick and a good price, then sometimes that can work really well if you've got like very little money to buy stuff up front. So I don't recommend it. I want to be honest there. Don't recommend doing that, but that's something that I've heard other people doing and it is an option. So I hope that makes sense. So let me know, Leonard, if that is helpful. The review guy. Hey, the review guy. What a great YouTube name. You must have like lots of followers. Like that's just a great channel. I've got to check you out. Tom, what would you say that the US market is better than the UK for profit margin? General, yes. Specifically, there will be people in the UK making more money in the US if you know what you're doing. And the defining metrics are that the US is slower, the UK is quicker, turnaround for speed, shipping stock in, doing stuff, but the US generally has higher margins. Generally, I'm not always saying that. Also, when you combine the fact in the US has a lot more of a coupon discount culture and it has cashback culture, these things make a difference. So I'll just keep that in mind. But I'll give you an analogy. 2 7-figure companies. My UK Amazon business was paying like £250 per month for accounting fees. My USA Amazon business is paying $1,000 per month for accounting fees. So big difference. And by the way, they're both e-commerce Amazon accounting specialists. So it's not like apples to oranges. They're both apples to apples. I appreciate I can get cheaper accountants, but you can kind of see. And by the way, again, look at the cost per unit. So while we talk about profitability, cost per unit or like prep cost in the UK is about 50 pence we were paying, 70 cents, the equivalent of. In the US, we now pay $2. So it's just so much more expensive. So that'll kind of give you an idea. Joa, I think it's Hoa. I don't know if it's Spanish. H. You're from Brazil. Name is in Portuguese. Fantastic. My Portuguese is like nothing. I live in Mexico, so I only know Spanish. Sorry. But hey, great to have you here. Thanks for the questions. And obviously, if you have any more, do join me. I'll try and do it next week. If we get lots of likes, give me likes and I'll do it next week. Carlos, how did you decrease the time from buy to sell? Suppliers. Look at your suppliers. By the way, you can do a really interesting calculation if you understand. Let's say, for example, I've got 2 suppliers, supplier 1 and supplier 2. Supplier 1 has great products. Maybe they're 40% ROI, but they take 3 weeks to ship the product. Supplier 2 is 30% ROI, but they can ship it in a day. Once you do the calculations, and basically all you do is you take the ROI divided by, you take the ROI, you take the number of days from buy to sell on average, And then what you do is you work out how many times you take the number of days, then you do 365 divided by that number of days, and it will tell you how many times you can turn it in a year. And then you multiply the ROI, so like 40% multiplied by 5, for example, that will give you 200% annualized ROI. And then you do it the other one, and you go, wow, if I get 30% ROI, but I can flip it 8 times, or if I get 40%, I do it 5 times, then you're like, well, actually 8 times flipping is much better than 5 times this. So what we started to understand was that by calculating the kind of like all-in cost ROI calculation, we'd say like we will buy from the slower seller only if the ROI met a certain amount, but otherwise we should generally buy from here. And again, we just kind of looked at the suppliers. So a lot of this supply did kind of do well, but a lot of those products we were like, now it's just not worth it. We should probably move some of our money over here. So that's what we did. Hope that makes sense. Swafwan Sami, hope that makes sense. What's your honest review of Fast Track FBA leads? Well, considering I own it, I don't think I could actually give you a proper non-biased honest review because I am the owner. So I think that's a massive disclaimer. Number 2, I'm going to be really honest. Number 1, first things first, it used to be really slow. Like, oh my God, like we had lots of problems around it. It was slow. We have now made some updates to it, which made it a lot faster. The application is a lot faster, but it's going to get faster as well. We're doing some more updates to it, which is really improving the speed. So I think that's a real kind of like, I want to say the negative first. The positive is the fact that you get to pick and choose your own deals. And if anyone's interested, fasttrackfba.com/leads, you get to pick and choose your own deals, which is great. If the deal, is a problem, out of stock, you can get refunded for the deal. And if you don't want to buy deals today, don't bother. You just get tokens and you exchange them. You can see all the details about the deal before you buy, which is great. We only limit it in the UK to 5. In the US, we limit it to 10. I think we have about 600 deals in the UK right now, and maybe like 300 in the US. Don't quote me. It could be like half that, but still a lot of deals to analyze. You can put in all your like prep fees, VAT fees, sales tax fees, and we'll calculate the profit for you. Show the keeper chart, which is really useful. We do calculations on 90-day and current day price, which is really, really useful. So that's really good. But the caveats are that while we only give them to 5 in the UK and 10 in the US, is like we can't stop other people buying these products. And as a result is that while we limit our supply doesn't mean that someone else might not have found it and then sell it. So, the very nature of leads list is sometimes you do get a lot of new sellers. But I think my top tip for you, if anyone is thinking about leads list right now, like you shouldn't be relying on leads list purely. You should be using leads list as a map to help you find new suppliers, new opportunities, new niches to go down that you just didn't know existed. And the net result is that then you start going into more kind of areas. And if I give you a good example, let's say, for example, we found you cat food chicken, it was a cat food chicken flavor. And you're like, oh, cool, let's go have a look at the beef. Oh, wow, I found another deal. Let's go look at the fish flavor. Wow, I found another deal. Cool, this brand seems really interesting. What else do they sell? Dog food. Oh, wow, I'll go look at the dog food. Wow, I found another thing. Cool. And now all of a sudden, what you realize is this brand now becomes your niche, and all you're doing is sourcing for that brand. Or perhaps maybe like, wow, I never even knew about cat food. But obviously you did. Maybe it's like parrot food. Wow, I never even knew about parrot food. Let's have a look more. Wow, all these seem to be quite profitable and they're really low on competition. Wow, and I found this coupon code for this supplier. And if I look at all the other ones and wow, this is amazing. Now all of a sudden you've just found a niche, and then you can really start to maximize that, and you can hire a VA to source more for you. That's the way you want to do it. But your leads list is a starting point. It isn't the answer. If you purely rely on leads lists to try and build your business, you're not building a business. It doesn't work. So hope that makes sense. Leonard, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. No problem. Honestly, I'm glad I'm here. Give me a thumbs up. Honestly, give me a thumbs up. And hey, if you want to join me, join the Top Seller program. It's $47 per month. And you can come join me live on a call and actually ask me questions. And I do screen shares with you. And if you want me to analyze stuff, you can see that as well. So I saw your recommendation. You need a minimum of 30K to do USA. What would be the realistic minimum budget for launch, I reckon? Well, when we say launch, what we're really talking about is if you're a non-resident, look, you can start the USA with $5,000 right now, absolutely fine. But again, I said to you, my accountancy fees are $1,000 per month, which is really expensive. And you don't need an accountant from day one, but you will need an accountant. So even if you're making, I don't know, 40, let's call it 50% ROI, and you've got $5,000, you're going to be making $2,500, but you don't make $2,500 per month. You make it every 3 months, for example. Things are a bit slower. So what you're saying is that after 3 months of trading on Amazon with a 5,000 starting capital, you're going to be at 7,500, which is fantastic. And then after 6 months, you might be at like, I don't know, 11,000. I'm just doing some math off the top of my head, but the net result is that you've made $5,000. Fantastic for 6 months worth of trade. Well, if you've got accountancy fees of $1,000 per month, that $6,000 is now just 5,000, or now 1,000, because you've just had to pay 5,000 in fees to accountants, which is like incredibly high. And again, that's assuming a 50% ROI, which you can beat, but like I want to be honest with you here. Like I think if you're going to go for a 40% ROI, that's a more realistic point. Now, your other problem is generally speaking, how do we scale businesses? Once we understand the model and we understand the way it works, what we're doing is we're just buying more and scaling that. You know, VAs are a great way to do it. And the way we buy more is using credit cards and Amazon loans and lending, for example. But if you're a non-US resident, you have no access to capital. You have no credit history, no like Amazon lending. You don't even probably have credit cards. So it just becomes a lot more difficult to scale with capital. So you have to bring the capital with you. Hence why 30K is a great amount. Like you could do it on less. Like if you want to start with 5 now and you think, hey, let me start with 5, practice that, and then like if it works, I'll bring another 10 over, and if that works, and if you've got a UK business making a shit ton of cash, and you want to bring that over, fantastic, like absolutely fine. That's what I did. I basically brought all the money from the UK over to the USA and ran the UK on debt. And when the interest rate started going up, and we're running it, by the way, I had I had access to over £1 million worth of debt at one point. You know, we had $250,000 on one Amex credit card, 125 on another Amex credit card. We had Amazon offering me nearly 682,000, I think it was. I did a video on it, being like, there's like $1 million there. That's an incredible amount of cash. But the interest on it was like horrendously high. And the Amazon loan, we only took 360,000, which was 42,000 in interest over a 9-month period. Just like, oh my God, you know, like you have to make so much profit, and that just didn't become profitable. So I was like, let's shut it down. But I pulled all the money over, and that's like why we've been able to grow it and do it well. But I think for you, 30K is a great amount, but be mindful of that. Right, Tom needs to go faster. He's got 4 minutes. Guys, drop me a comment down below if you've liked it. Give me a thumbs up. I'm not really too sure. Like, let me know if you're still here liking it. So, Benja, reverse sourcing or manual sourcing to find product niche or good area. I've got limited cash flow. Isn't like no, like that you'd use both of them. Like, start with one and then do the other one. There is no like one or the other. Just start with one. If you want to do it, like go find a niche. Yeah, like you got to go high ROI. Don't just storefront stalking can get you started, but my God, please do not, for the love of you, like go storefront stalk for the rest of the time. Like start with like a day of storefront stalking, figure out what brands, categories you quite like, and then after that, just do manual sourcing. Why? Because if you keep storefront stalking, everything you're going to buy is going to crash in price. I promise you that. It's like a horrible thing. But you've got to find something that most people don't do. If it's a big brand or a big well-known store with a sale, probably going to crash. Like that's my advice. You want the coupon codes, discount codes, that's going to help you out. Hope that makes sense. What are some good tips you can give me to help find replens? The harder it is to find, the better it is. Honestly, I hate to say it. Like, it is. Like, you've look at your... there's a really good thing which Flip Samal said, which I was like, this is really quite a good thing. If you can see lots of sellers on a keeper chart and the seller count is going down and up and down and up, and the price is really stable, the question you need to really ask is, people are buying this product at the good profitable price. My question now is I just need to find it. So if you can find those graphs whereby the new seller count has got a lot of changes and the price is really, really stable and it's good sales, like I just focus on those because the price is there somewhere. The question is, can you find it? Like that's it. That's all I'd be looking for. So I hope that makes sense. Also, I did an interview with, look on my channel, look at an interview with, I completely forgotten his name. The guy, Proven, Jimmy Smith, I think his name is. He does like he taught the replen strategy for the Proven course. Watch that. He does talk it through and he does a line screen share on some of the keeper charts. Check it out. I think about 4 weeks ago. Leonard, let's do this. This is going to be my last one, people. What does Q4 stand for and what does it mean? Q4, quarter 4. Think about the year, one whole year, 365 days, 12 months. Divide the 12 months into 4 quarters. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Q4, generally October, November, December. It's Christmas. That's the time. That's what you really look for. And can you really make good when Black Friday comes along? Yeah, definitely. Hell yeah. Top tip for you, don't be buying stuff in Black Friday whereby the price is going up on Amazon. always be buying stuff whereby even if the price didn't move, you still make some really good profits because everyone else will probably buy on Black Friday and the price will probably go down. So, or at least remain flat. So don't go buy it on the rising tide. Make sure that you're buying good deals on Black Friday, not just, oh, it could work. Don't do it. So Q4, Christmas is kind of area. And if you want to know around Christmas, ask me questions next week and I will give you all the gossip on Q4 about what you want to know, what you want to be doing. But guys, give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you've liked this and I will love you and leave you. Time is up. Stay safe, people. Bye.